Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about 20th Anniversary Screening by Jeff Strand. And this says Bram Stoker Award nominee. Little sticker on there. This is just a little tiny novella, so tiny they couldn't even print anything on the spine. This story originally appeared in a book called Slice and Dice that had 4 novellas by 4 different authors. I do not have that, but when this came out, obviously by itself, I picked it up because I love Jeff Strand. And the story is written as an online article. So there's this website that deals in horror. And so one of their writers has written this article about a horrible slasher movie called The Roofer. And so the article first talks about the movie The Roofer itself. And when it first came out, it had a very, very short run. And there was a tragedy that occurred. And then we go to someone decided 20 years later to do a 20th anniversary screening of the movie, the controversy that surrounds it, and what happens at that screening. So it's written on the back, it says mockumentary style. So as I said, it's written as an article, an online article, and so there's interview clips, written pieces of interviews, quotes from people, and it's a reporter essentially telling you these events that happened. And so it does have a bit of Jeff Strand's dark humor, but it's not one of his just over the top, laugh out loud, hilarious books, which I love. Love that stuff. He's one of the best, if not the best, horror comedy writers out there. And so there are bits of comedy in here. It's definitely, I think, if I didn't know it was written by Jeff Strand and I read it, I would be like, oh, this is a Jeff Strand book. It's his style, despite being written by somebody else, because it's written by the author of whatever this article is for this website. Excuse me just a moment. So, excuse me. It's fantastic. I can't remember if I gave 4 or 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. Definitely a 4.5. I love the description of the movie, The Roofer. It sounds like the kind of incredibly schlocky, low budget, bad slasher film that I would love to watch. Something along the lines of is it Silent Night, Deadly Night 2? Or I don't know if anybody remembers way back in the day there was a horror movie called Truth or Dare. Like way, way back in the day. That was so bad that I could watch it over and over again. It's one of those movies when you watch the credits, you'll see the same name 10 times. You'll see the same last name a bunch of times because it's all a bunch of family members helping out. It's so bad it's entertaining, and that's what The Roofer sounds like. It's a movie I would want to see. So I love when the writer of this article tells us, describes the movie to us. And there are asides like, the director said they had to do this because of this. And then it goes on describing more of the movie. In the next scene, da 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 da. The actor who played so and so meant to do this, but this happened. They didn't have the budget to redo it, and that's why that's in the film. That kind of thing. And then we get this horrible thing that happens during its initial release. And then, excuse me, when we get to the 20th anniversary screening, it's interviews with the director of the movie. There's interviews with the guy who owns the theater, who's doing this 20th anniversary screening. And it's the same theater where these horrible things happened 20 years ago. So there's protests, and there's people that want to do something about it. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's really entertaining. I mean, it's Jeff Strand. The dude knows how to write. The dude knows how to tell a story. So again, if you want a quick read, I read 3 books, 3 novellas in one day. It was a beautiful day out. I sat outside and just read for an entire day. This was the second one that I read that day. If you watched the review that I posted before this one, Parachute by Holly Ray Garcia, that was the first book I read that day. Then I grabbed this and I read it. I highly recommend it, as I would pretty much any Jeff Strand. I don't think there's one I've read yet that I wouldn't highly recommend. But it's a lot of fun. Really cool. I like the conceit of it being an article for an online magazine. Really, really good. 20th Anniversary Screening. Jeff Strand, Bram Stoker Award nominee. Check it out. So, question for this video. What are your feeling on really low budget, crappy movies? I want to say horror movies, but not everybody's necessarily a horror movie fan. I'm a fan if... I've mentioned this before. My one criteria is entertainment. If the movie at least entertains me, if it's not boring, I can let slide the low budget, the bad acting. As I said, this movie, Truth or Dare, it's just one we rented the VHS at the video store because it looked interesting. Had no idea it was this horribly low budget movie. And it's really bad, but I find it incredibly entertaining. I would watch it again. I've watched it multiple times. Plus I like to support low budget filmmakers, again, if they're doing something that's going to entertain me. Now, there are low budget filmmakers who do have problems because of budget that are still actually making good movies. But I'm talking about those movies that aren't good. There's no argument that they're good, but they can still be entertaining, and I like to be entertained. And I like to see the effort that people have put into something, whether or not they've achieved it. I like to see people be creative. What are your feelings on that? Do you dismiss that type of movie? Can you watch? Do you have any that are favorites? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronan5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is EricSmith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH5757. That's all I've got. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.